Blue skies. My name is Amelia Rose Earhart, and thank you so much for watching this video. July 11th, today is a really special day for me. This day is the anniversary of the completion of my flight around the world that I took back in 2014. So today is the 9-year anniversary. That flight was a 24,385 nautical mile journey around the world in this single engine airplane, the Pilatus PC-12NG. I have a model of it right here with my co-pilot, Shane Jordan. Now, I completed this flight because I wanted to live up to this big namesake that I had been given. I was named after Amelia Earhart, who attempted a flight around the world in 1937 with her navigator, Fred Noonan. Now, I'm named after Amelia, but I'm not related to her, though for a lot of my life, I thought I was, and that has a lot to do with this big announcement. But today, on the very anniversary of completing the flight around the world, I have a huge announcement to share, and that is the book that I wrote about that journey and the flight lessons that I took away from circumnavigating the Earth and really becoming pilot in command of my own journey. That book is now live. It is published as of today, and this is the Amazon link. It just feels so real to see it online like this. The book is called Learn to Love the Turbulence, Flight Lessons on Becoming Pilot in Command of Your Own Journey. And I wrote this book along with my co-writer, co-author, Kristen Clark-Taylor, this beautiful human right here. Kristen and I met way back in 2020 when I first began the writing process. And after trying to write this book for so many years on my own, I decided to reach out and ask for help. I knew the stories and the flight lessons that I wanted to share, but I needed help with the structure. And I also needed someone to help me motivate, to get me through the process, because I would sit there at my computer with just that blank page and the cursor flashing at me. And when I reached out to Kristen for her help, everything changed. And we began writing the book early in 2020. And for the past couple of years, I have been not only finishing the manuscript, but also working to find the right publisher to work with to get this book out into the world. Originally, I tried to find a traditional publisher, but that process was really hard and really slow. So I took matters into my own hands and decided to self-publish this book. And it's now available for purchase on Amazon. And it'll be out in other formats very soon. But right now you can go and purchase the paperback. So this book really, to me, is not only a journey of my own story and telling the wild examples of what it's been like to be named after someone as incredible as Amelia Earhart, but what it means to become pilot in command of our own journey in life. See, I believe that the only plane that never experiences turbulence is one that stays locked up in a hangar, never to take flight in the first place, right? If you're taking flight, you will experience bumps, ranging from the most subtle disturbances in the air and the atmosphere all the way up to severe turbulence. And I think the same is true here on the ground for all of our lives. When we try to make it towards our biggest goals, there will be turbulence. There will be bumps and storms and jolts, and it'll be downright scary at times. But just like a pilot can navigate through and around those storms up in the air and change to more optimal airspace and use air traffic control to get a wider picture of the area they want to fly through. Just like all of that works up in the air, I think the same works down here on the ground. And I found that by applying these concepts of taking a pilot's perspective on how we navigate through storms and make decisions, it works really well to get us through the toughest of storms. Like I said, this is a really special day for me. I've got my logbook here sitting in front of me with the actual numbers and, my just scratches and scrawls of all my flight experience here through the years leading up to that flight around the world. And leading up to today, July 11th, 2014, I would write down the details, the hours that it took to circumnavigate the globe. And as I get ready to share this book, I feel so much pride and excitement. And it's my true hope that really it lands with you in the right way, because I really wrote it in a way that tries to show you, each of the readers, not only a good and entertaining story about the adventures of something as wild and crazy as a flight around the world, but more practically, how you can do the same thing for yourself. Because When I began planning for my flight, it started with one single flight lesson way back in my early 20s in Boulder, Colorado. I started flying back when I first thought I was related to Amelia Earhart. And yes, that gave me a lot of encouragement to try to live up to this name. But as I got closer to my journey and completed my private license, my instrument rating, my commercial rating, my Pilatus PC-12 rating, and eventually got all the sponsors and partners and support to fly around the world to honor and recreate Amelia's flight. As I looked at each of those steps, what it came down to was literally one single flight lesson, one single step at a time, one action that would move me slightly towards that goal, just closer and closer, inch by inch. Because if I were to look at taking a flight around the world, it just seems daunting. Where do you even start? But I reached out and I asked for help. I contacted other around the world pilots to learn about their experience. I reached out to my pilot and my mentor friends, and I started saying, hey, can you help me along this journey? And that's really what made it possible. You know, I never could have done it without the incredible team of people that I worked with, especially my co-pilot, Shane Jordan. Shane and I, each year, we text each other on the very first day of at the start of the flight when we kicked off that journey in Oakland, California, and we text each other again on July 11th. And we both say something to the likes of, oh my gosh, we flew around a whole planet, right? Because it's such a unique thing to accomplish, and we share such pride with that. And so today, to be able to announce that the book is finally available and I can finally share it with all of you, it just fills me with such pride. Making this video right now is something I have been excited to do. I didn't want to anticipate it and do it too early. The book launched last night while I was sleeping, and I woke up and I got on Amazon and I typed in the title, and there it was. I don't even have my physical copy of the book yet. I only have a picture of it because I'm still waiting for it to arrive in the mail, my final proof of the book. Now, when it arrives, I'm going to do another video of what it's like to open that up and see it for the very first time. I've already gone on Amazon and ordered my first copy, which also it's Prime Day. So that could be a really good day to get free shipping on your book if you do decide to purchase. There's also a Kindle version that will be available on July 18th. That one's a little bit delayed because July 18th was the original publishing date, but I said, let's move it up. Let's align it with the anniversary of completing this flight around the world. So you can do the paperback version now and the Kindle and ebook version on July 18th. Another really special announcement, and this comes along with the scholarship aspect of my flight around the world. Back between 2012 and 2020, I was the president of the Fly with Amelia Foundation, which was a scholarship program that granted flight training scholarships to girls 16 to 18 all across the US. And those girls got $7,500 a piece to learn how to fly. And several of them are now professional pilots. So many have gone on to reach different levels in their flight training goals. Well, when I wrapped up the Fly with Amelia Foundation in 2021, I decided that I wanted to give the remaining close to $50,000 to an incredible organization that has supported me so much. And that is the Amelia Earhart Hangar Museum in Atchison, Kansas. And this is a really special place for me because back in 2012, prior to my flight around the world, the Amelia Earhart Festival and the Amelia Earhart Pioneering Achievement Award Committee, which is this incredible group that grants funds to women who are doing big things and who live in the honor of Amelia and sort of live like she did, right? With tenacity and boldness and bravery. Well, they knew I was planning this flight around the world and setting up my scholarship fund. And the Amelia Earhart Festival gave me the very first $10,000 investment in the scholarship program. So that money went to fund the first flight training scholarships to the girls that were given their funding back in 2014. Well, just this year, I am so proud to announce that the remaining funds, close to $50,000 from Fly with Amelia, as I wrapped up that organization so that I can focus on different ways of giving back. Running a foundation was a great process for 10 years, but I decided to focus on different aspects of giving back in aviation now as I move forward with the book. But that remaining money went to the Amelia Earhart Hangar Museum, where you can go and see the beautiful Lockheed Electra 10E, the same model airplane that Amelia attempted her flight around the world in. And this plane is beautiful. It's named Muriel, and it's at the center of this state-of-the-art facility in Atchison, Kansas. I got to go there for the opening and experience it firsthand for myself. And I'm so proud to have given back in a tiny little way towards their beautiful exhibit, because that's where people can go in person to experience what that plane feels like up close and personal. And in just a couple weeks at the Amelia Earhart Festival, which takes place on July 21st and 22nd in Atchison, Kansas, I will be sitting on my very first ever author panel and discussing the book, Learn to Love the Turbulence, which explains the story of why I have this name, what it was like to plan and complete a flight around the world, what it was like to learn that I'm not related to Amelia Earhart, and the whole wild story. And boy, I'm getting emotional now thinking about this, because about 5 months ago, I didn't think that this was going to happen. I had started working with a couple different self-publishing groups in an attempt to get this book out and get it published, self-published, because while I do hope to work with a traditional publisher someday, that process is pretty daunting, right? It's pretty mysterious. Any author will tell you that. But I had gone through a couple different groups and realized that they weren't a good fit. And I had almost given up. I thought, what's the point? Maybe I'll do it someday. But something in me said, no, you've got to figure this out. And so I got on LinkedIn and I said to all my connections and friends and colleagues on there, I said, hey, has anyone gone through this process? Has anyone self-published? Does anyone have any recommendations of a great group that can help me pull this off? And so many people came flooding back with examples and folks to turn to. And I decided to go with Meryl Moss and her incredible team, who have helped me now over the last 5 months bring this book to life. So I want to say thank you to Meryl and the entire team, because it's real. It's a real book. It is up on Amazon. It is there. And boy, it's still, it's so exciting just to look and see that it's up, available. I can share it now, which is also a little bit scary. I know that as a really sensitive person, I am going to be nervous to see the reviews and see how it lands with everyone on the other side. But I have to channel that same confidence of the woman who flew around the world back in 2014, who figured out how to bring together a team of close to 100 people to honor the woman she was named after, Amelia Earhart, with a modern day flight around the world in a state-of-the-art airplane, and did it with the true intention of simply taking flight towards her own goals and showing other women what's possible in aviation. You know, there's been so many ups and downs since the flight. The world has changed so much since 2014, but I believe that the lessons that I share in this book are really timeless. Lessons like the art of navigating the holding pattern, ways that we can think about times that life keeps us from landing at the destination that we want to reach. I talk a lot about embracing solo flight at times, and at other times working with a co-pilot. Those times when we need to reach out for help and really rely on our flight crew. And then the final chapter of the book, which is all about learning to love the turbulence, is really how to embrace the bumps and know that they are truly character building. They are confidence building, they're strength building. And as a professional speaker now today, I get to travel around and share the story on stage with companies all across the board. At this point, I've spoken to Apple Computers, I've spoken to Boeing, the US Air Force Academy, Northrop Grumman. I've spoken to healthcare groups and tech groups and organizations that are in the nonprofit world. And when I step on stage to tell this story from start to finish, it tends to land in a really heartfelt and vulnerable and emotional way, because I believe each of us has taken flight towards at least a few of our goals in life. Some of them have resulted in a crash landing because we gave up, right? Some of them have made it all the way to the destination. Some of them have been twisting and turning and navigating routes through crazy storms, but we finally made it there. And so I know that each of us can relate to at least a few of the lessons in this book. And my hope is that you will relate in a lot of ways to all of them, because I wrote them in a way that just really breaks it down to their simplest components. This isn't a book that will teach you how to fly. This isn't a book that's all about airplanes. This is a book about taking flight. So thank you for watching this video. I can't believe it. I did it in one take, which makes me so happy. I thought it would take me about 30 or 40 takes to get it right, but I think it speaks to the fact that I am now finally speaking from the heart. And as I wrap things up, I want to say a special thank you to my parents for taking the chance on giving me this name, Amelia Earhart, to my co-pilot, Shane Jordan, who circumnavigated the entire world with me in the Pilatus PC-12, Thank you to Pilatus for letting me borrow their aircraft for that flight around the world. And of course, thank you to Kristen Clark Taylor, my co-author on this book, who helped me structure and extract the stories and tell them with the level of vulnerability that this type of book really deserves. So thank you so much for watching, and I want to wish you all blue skies. I'll link to the book, and I can't wait to hear what you think. We'll see you later.